So here we go.
We are just jumping in.
Yes.
We don't know if you can see us or not.
Hey! Happy Monday, everyone.
Right?
I am excited for today.
It's today President's Day again.
No.
There's not two President's Day. Are you
I
sure?
don't know. I'm not sure. This is a pop quiz.
No.
I'm not good at pop quizzes.
Now that my kids are out of school, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I thought we had two President's Days.
I mean,
which wouldn't make sense.
It was pretty quiet today. I don't know. You guys tell us if you're watching this. Why don't you tell us? Educate us.
Is it the second President's Day? Which makes no sense. But anyway, we have a really cool show for you today. We have Malia Anderson on the show. I've known her for a number of years. I met her at an event where we both were speaking, and I saw her and I talked to her the day before we both spoke. And I thought she was interesting. I didn't quite know. And then she got on stage, and have you ever seen her speak on stage?
No.
She came alive, and apparently she doesn't prepare. She's one of those who can get up and not prepare for a stage presentation. I can't do that. I work really hard on my stage presentations. I practice, and I have it all mapped out, and I have an outline, and I do a lot to prepare for them, but not Malia. And it works for her. You could see her just kind of get into her vibe, and she was funny, and she was interesting, and she was engaging. Everyone was totally engrossed in what she was talking about. But of course, she was talking about style, because that's what she's all about. She's all about getting into your mindset and walking into a room. The whole title of this show, this episode, is Owning a Room Through Style.
Yeah.
And Malia, when she walks, she's 6 foot tall. Do you know that? She's tall.
She's tall. I know.
And she wears high heels. But she's a tall woman. She's like, I am no shrinking violet. So she had to get used to what it's like to walk into a room and not feel intimidated. So that's what she talks about, and that's what she helps her clients with. So it's really kind of cool and interesting.
Yeah, and for those just tuning in, I know that I'm looking down, I'm checking the tech, making sure we're unfrozen. So we were frozen for a minute, now we're back up and running. So welcome. I love seeing you guys. Pop in the comments, say hello, even if you're watching the replay. We are excited to be here. And yeah, it's very interesting when you think about the clothes that you wear and the mindset that you have to get in. Like, there's a lot of planning that goes into just showing up. I mean, that's
going to an event.
Yeah.
I was just listening to an interview that I did it's coming up, but with these 4 powerhouse women who are very successful. And we're talking about networking and going into a room where you don't know people necessarily and how uncomfortable it can be.
Yeah.
Right? And so by just at least having on the attire that makes you feel confident, whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter.
Right.
But it just kind of gives you that extra oomph.
It does. And what's your comfortable attire? I want to know. And maybe it's sweatpants and your Uggs. Maybe it's your pantsuit. Like, maybe it's just a t-shirt and jeans. Like, what's something that really makes you comfortable? And it doesn't have to be when you go to an event. If you want to put that, that's fine. But I'm just curious, what's that outfit that you can put on and say, yes, I can do anything in this outfit? And there may be a couple different ones, right? Because sometimes I'm like, shorts and a t-shirt, I'm ready in my gym attire to do anything. But there's also the time when I'm doing the t-shirt and jeans or polo and jeans. You know, what's that attire look like for you? Because I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I love a white t-shirt and jeans. That's my go-to, but everyone's different.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to hear what people say after this episode, because Malia, I've interviewed other stylists, and every stylist has their own approach, but Malia really has had to learn how to feel confident walking into a room as a 6 foot tall, statuesque woman. Yeah. So some of the things that, not just what Malia was talking about, but that I've learned around, from having to networks for so long, is go to the bar.
Yes.
Do you know this? Like,
no,
you go to
but
the bar.
That's usually where we introverts go, is straight to the bar or straight to wherever the drinks or food is.
Yes.
Even if you don't drink, you still want to go there because that's where you feel like that's your safe zone.
But look for those people who look like maybe they're a little uncomfortable and start up a talk with them, right? Yeah. But that's a place to go, because that's where people, like you said, that's where they'll go. But it's a perfect place to meet and start networking. I don't know how many times I go to an event and I'll have a plate of food that I never eat because I don't want it stuck in my teeth.
Yes.
And I don't want to be having a mouthful of food while I'm trying to talk to somebody.
Right.
Or even like a glass of wine. You'll see us. We'll have this glass of wine for the show. For the show, I usually drink a little bit. But at events, I will fake it.
Yeah. Well, you have
the
to.
whole time.
You have to, because you want to make sure that you're on top of your game. Like, that's how I am too. Most people are like, oh, just have a drink and just relax. I'm like, no, I'm working. Like, I can't, I need to like be focused, and I need to stay in tune with everything because there's so much going on.
Right. So if you guys have tips on networking, I know for a lot of people, including myself, it can be really uncomfortable. And, just trying to break that ice and find that person who might be willing to talk to me or, right? Or, or when to exit.
Yeah.
And there's so many parts. And like, what do you do? So,
and do you wear something? So going back to your attire, do you wear something to grab people's attention? Because when we went to the event down in the city for Drift, we were there and I wore my Wine Otter hat. And I intentionally wore my Wine Otter baseball hat because I felt comfortable with it. And I knew that it was going to
it's a talking point.
Talk to someone.
Yeah, it's a fantastic
and
talking
it did.
point.
And it got people's attention, and they were like, okay, so I got to ask about your hat. I that's probably why you wore it, but I got to ask because it looks really good, and I want to know what's a Wine Otter, who is a Wine Otter, and that started the conversation. And so for me, that was powerful.
In fact, I have to say, because I was there with you.
Yeah.
Ed was talking to people all day long about his Wine Otter. I'm just kind of like, where's that wine?
Yeah.
But it worked. But I think even like for women, having something that's unusual, maybe having a brooch on your shirt or something that's a little bit unusual that invites people to at least have something to talk to you about.
Exactly.
Right?
Especially if you're an introvert, because I will say it can be very nerve-wracking going into an event and not knowing anybody and saying, okay, I'm here. What do I do? Who am I going to talk to? And you stress yourself out and you work yourself up. And it's like, if you can wear something that's confident, and maybe it's not even showing. Maybe it's not something, maybe you're wearing.
Maybe it's your bra and underwear.
Yeah. Maybe it's something that you literally are wearing that no one can see, but you know that it gives you that confidence. I have a Wine Otter shirt that sometimes it's just a plain white t-shirt, but sometimes it's not appropriate just to wear that to an event, but I'll wear that as an undershirt. I'm not wearing that today. It's just a regular white shirt, but it's one that I'll wear as an undershirt. And I know that I have that power. It's there. You may not see it, but I know it, right?
It's all mental. It's so mental. But, one thing that we talk about is you see these people who walk into a room and they don't necessarily need to be stunningly gorgeous or physically attractive or anything else, but they just call attention to you, right?
Yes.
We all see it. We all have seen those people who walk into a room and you just want to go talk to them. Or you want to talk to them, but they're surrounded by people, so you can't get access.
Yeah.
What is it about them?
It's pretty powerful. And having that outfit, I will say, when you wear the right outfit, that like pops. Like if you're at an event that's mostly casual, just jeans and a t-shirt or something, and you show up in a slick suit, pantsuit, whatever, man, you are going to turn heads. And
for guys, it's so easy.
Well, and women
you just need
too.
A really nice suit.
Yeah, and women too, though. I mean, if you show up, wearing your nicest outfit, when most are wearing, I don't know, leggings and maybe some heels or something, you are definitely going to get some looks, and people are going to be curious, who are you?
Right.
Because now you stand out from the crowd. You're walking in like you own the place with this power outfit on.
Right. Yeah. So
it's pretty crazy.
Let us know. Let us know what you wear. Let us know what you do to go to an event and to feel confident, and maybe even words that you say or thoughts that you have in the back of your mind of what you're going to talk about to approach people. We would love to hear it. And I know so many other people would love to hear that too, because that holds a lot of people back.
Yeah. This episode is going to be great. Once you finish watching it, be sure to let us know what one thing you took away from it. And I'll remind you at the end, but it's pretty interesting, the things that you're going to learn here. And now with conferences coming up and all of the events, I mean, we're here at the end of February. We have social media marketing, the social media examiner conference coming up. There's so many conferences coming up, especially when you get closer to the end of the year. This is going to help you be prepared. as well as the previous episode that we had last week. So be sure to check these out.
Yes. All right. Time to start the show.
Should we jump in? All right, guys, we're going to share our episode and jump in. Here we go.
Welcome to another episode of the Mom's Life Show, where we help you create a mindset for easier success and prosperity. And today we have an amazingly fun show for you. We have Malia Anderson from Style by Malia, and she's going to be talking about is how to use your fashion to show up and to be heard. She is incredible. You're going to love her. And then, of course, we have our very own Ed Troxel, who's going to be showing us how to use selfies for your brand and to expand everything that you're doing. But, of course, before all of that, we are going to have our mindset tip of the day. So get out your papers, your pen, and let's get started. Welcome back to the Mom's Life tip of the day. And what we are talking about is giving yourself permission to take a vacation. Even though your business is crazy busy and you're thinking, oh my gosh, if I leave, everything's going to fall apart and I have to take care of this contract and that client and everything else. We all go through that. But those who are the most successful and the most fulfilled and the most strategic and the most creative are those who actually will allow themselves to take a mental break. So before you just go do this, let's talk about some strategies so that you can go feeling more confident in your vacation. The first one is give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to be like, okay, I'm going on vacation and this is something that's going to help me be more successful and help my family and everything else. So that's the first step. Number two, think about what keeps you up at night with your business. What are those things that make your stomach turn, that are causing you stress, that you know needs to be dealt with, but you're not coming up with the right solutions? Think about that. And before you go, write it out. There's maybe a couple of them, write them out, but then fold it up and leave it at home. And then the third thing is turn off all electronics, turn off everything, try to turn off your brain and just go on vacation. And really, when you're there, own it. If that means just sitting on the beach and drinking Mai Tais all day, awesome. If that means going on adventure, jumping out of planes, climbing rocks, doing whatever, going skiing, awesome. Whatever it is, go full out and allow yourself to really enjoy whatever it is. But then here's the second part of the strategy part of your vacation. Before you come home, think about what those challenges were. This is important before you come home, not when you get home, but before you come home. Think about what the challenges were and then take some time, take a breather, maybe enjoy a glass of wine and some music, and brainstorm solutions and just write it out. Just let your brain go. Don't do the, yeah, but that's not going to work. Just let your brain go to wherever it goes, and I can almost guarantee you, you're going to come up with new, more creative ideas and new solutions that pushed you way out of your comfort zone, but now seem tangible and real. And you're going to come home ready to go. We are here with the amazing Malia Anderson, Style by Malia. You're going to want to look her up. But we've known each other for a couple years, and I see you everywhere. And the thing with Malia, how tall are you? 6 feet. She's 6 feet tall, but she always looks stunning like this. I've never seen you where I'm like, Malia's looking a little drab today. You always are dressed to the nines and you show up. You have this presence about you. And I don't think it's the size, how tall you are. I think it's the way that you carry yourself.
Yes.
And so what's your motto?
You are seen, you are heard. So just basically showing up for your life, making sure that people see you. And that's one of the things that I've learned about myself is that, yes, I'm a 6 foot tall woman of, stature, but if people don't see me, if I don't show up, then people don't hear me. And so I always want to be heard in the room.
Yeah, so when it comes to business, So many of us, I know everyone who's watching this right now, you have some kind of passion, you have some kind of story, you have some kind of mission that is just waiting to come out of you, or it's already started coming out, but you can sense that something's holding you back, right? Have you ever felt like that or worked with people like that? And it's normal. I have felt that probably 1,000,000+ times. But the way that you dress, and we're going to have you go more into this because you work with so many business people, you help people come out of that. So talk to us about this.
So basically, my philosophy on style is really simple. Everybody deserves to look good. Period.
Yes.
There's no question to me, but there's no box for style. What you consider stylish and what I consider stylish can be two totally different things. But you deserve that. And what happens is when I dress people, I make sure that everything that they feel inside about themselves shows up in their wardrobe.
Yes. Yes.
It's that simple. So when I dress business people who are wanting to elevate to the next level, or they want to level up, or whatever we're calling it these days, I say, who are your inspirations? What feels like style to you? And then I put it into their lives. And so I used to say that all I do is shop for a living, and my clients, it's not. But my clients are like, that is a very small part of what you do. What I do is I take your life and I wrap it in clothes. Clothes are the tool. I dig deep and go, what's working for you? What's not working for you? How do you want to show up? Who do you want to attract? How do you want to attract them? Where's your business going? How do you anticipate getting there? And then I take away all the drama of getting dressed so that you can focus on all the things that you need to do to get your life where you're going.
Yes. So let's pause on that. Having the right clothes that you don't have to think about is amazing. So give us some tips on this.
Well, so for me, how I dress, so you said you were nervous and you heard me speak, and then you went home and you didn't think about what was important, which was the top. You thought about how you were going to physically look. What happens if somebody takes that part away? Right? So for my clients, whether they're going to show up at a meeting, they're going to do a presentation, they're going to argue in court, whatever it is, they're going to speak for the very first time. They focus on the work. I get them dressed for it.
Yes.
Because if you focus on the work, you're going to do the best possible job on the work.
Right.
I'm just going to make you look good doing work.
Okay, so tell us, how can you make us look good? Okay, so let's say tomorrow I have a presentation in front of 500 people and various business people. Okay. Speaking of a real thing, but it's not tomorrow. So what would you advise for me?
So what I would do is I would want to know where you're speaking. I want to know who the business people are in the room. I want to know what the event is. I want to know what the stage looks like. I want to know where you're standing. I want to know that, so that when you're standing on stage, is it so high that you need to wear pants because everybody can see
my underwear?
Is the stage wobbly, or is the stage short? So, maybe heels aren't the best thing, or you need to be comfortable. I take all of that so that you can focus on giving the best presentation possible.
I love it.
And I do that for people going to weddings. There's nothing worse than showing up to a beach wedding in heels and nobody told you it was a beach.
Something you can't predict, but
I go through the invitation. I figure it all out, and then I go. And so then when people do show up for a presentation, a wedding, a photo, whatever it is, they feel their most confident.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because confidence is everything.
Right.
So let's say you have a business person, or a business person who is working in lower management.
Right.
But this person really wants to get into the C-suite.
Okay.
What would you advise them? I know that you would ask them a bunch of questions, but what are some things that you see the difference between someone who's in lower management versus a woman who carries themselves in a C-suite?
So most of the women I know who are in C-suite are likely some of the most uncomfortable people you'd ever meet.
Because they
they have to dress so conservative?
No, just because they're good at the thing they do.
Oh,
So
interesting.
when you're coming up the ranks of career, what happens is we all get into, this is probably too old for a lot of people, we get into the, the Murphy Brown of it all. Like, we have to, this is what conservative women look, this is what
wear those suits.
We wear the suits, do the thing, and that's not who it is. That's not who you have to appear to be. You have to be the most comfortable version of yourself. And that's what people are attracted to.
Right. When your passion shows.
Yeah, if you know the work, all you have to do is show up.
But talk to me a little bit about how clothes, like let's say, I have to go do this. We talked about presentation, so let's keep it there. Super nervous. Maybe I'm doing a board presentation and I'm shaking in my boots. What are some ways that clothes, some things that I can say to myself or that you've told to your clients on how I can change my mindset so that when I put on this power dress, I'm also stepping into the person that I want to be.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right. So for me, one of the worst terms we have in the world is fake it till you make it. Because it's a false sense of accomplishment. Right? So it's not a good mindset to be in. I want you to meet me where I am. Right? So when it comes to clothing, if I have to give a presentation in, a boardroom, I know the boardroom's going to house 10 to 12 people. I want to show up and be seen in that boardroom, but I don't want to overpower it.
Got it.
I don't want to be so dressed that people can't focus on what I'm saying. All they see is the clothes.
Yes.
So for me, it's like, I was doing this today, and I thought, I want to be approachable, but I still want to be me. And for me, that was like, okay, I'm going to wear a dress because that's really approachable for me. And it doesn't make me look overpowering. But I could have come in here in a red dress. I could have come in here in a leopard print dress. I could have come in here in something that was bigger than who I am.
What are some of the mindset things that you work on or that you have that have really helped you?
So for me, I've been 6 feet tall since the 6th grade. So there's been no hiding in my life. But I was a quiet kid. I'm still a quiet adult. But for me, I always knew that if I wanted people to learn about me and not just think of me as the tall black girl in the back of the room, I need to sit closer to the front.
Oh, so you forced yourself to
I forced myself out of my comfort zone, which would be nose in a book, sitting quietly, being unassuming.
Yes.
When you're 6 feet tall, it's hard to be unassuming. So I wouldn't know. I sort of just took that and just ran with it. So it took a lot of years to get as confident as I am right now because there was a lot of wins and losses,
Yeah.
I mean, some days are good days, some days are bad days. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't wake up one morning and go, I'm confident.
I'm Malia Anderson.
I'm Malia Anderson. I can conquer the world.
Right.
There are days where I wake up and I'm like, seriously, I'm going back to bed.
Let's just be real.
I don't want to be Malia Anderson today.
Yes.
But I show up. And so if I'm going to show up, I'm going to look good. I'm going to do the best work that I can do. And I'm going to have a positive mindset about who I am. I'm good at what I do. I'm an expert at what I do. I'm not an expert at everything.
Right.
And I think as business people, we think we have to be an expert at everything. Otherwise, we are failures at everything.
That is a big statement.
For me, my mind goes to, I am good at spending money. I am not great at saving money.
Okay.
So I found a person who is an expert at saving money.
Yes, we all have our zone of genius, and then we have those areas that we could use some support. So,
Right.
Thank you.
I hire experts to do this.
Yes. Yes.
I am an expert at what I do. I am good at what I do. Nobody can come to me and tell me better than what I know about this particular thing.
Right.
What I had to stop doing for my process of confidence was Stop trying to take on everything and know everything. Be good at the thing, whatever that thing is.
That thing
good at
that makes
that.
you sing, that thing that drives us, right? That's what it's all about. Leah, how can people find out about you?
On social media, you can find me at stylebymleah.com.
Okay, so we are talking about the dreaded selfies.
This tool that I'm about to show you is going to save your life and your
Cool.
business.
Okay, well that's a big shoe to fill. So let's hear it. I want to know.
So most of us are just carrying around our phones and we're trying to do the selfie and we're trying to get that right angle and just going right there. You've probably heard of the selfie stick, which most people have or have heard of it. So you pop your phone in there and you kind of have like these fun little angles and then it extends. It's helpful because it allows you to get that extra extension that you don't normally have with just your arm.
Yes.
Now, because I always like to take it to the next level and I always am asking, how can we make this better? Well, I didn't get a selfie stick. I got what we like to call a selfie stick tripod.
Oh,
So that
fancy.
you can take better selfies no matter where you're at, what you're doing. So now we can easily take a great selfie with our hands free and just have it right there. Not to mention, it also has a remote. So now we don't have to sit there and it's attached. So this is the cool thing about these selfie stick tripods is that they're so easy, compact. Most of them you can get on Amazon and they're compact, they're durable. Some can be very flimsy, you want to make sure you get a good base on it. But I mean, look at how far this goes.
And I have to say, when I see people who take a good selfie, some of those pictures are cool. And they really show personality. That's what I like about the selfie. You get to understand what more of an authentic person.
And here's the cool thing. When you have something like this, you get to be your own photographer. What do I mean? I mean that when you are a business professional on a budget and you can't afford to hire a photographer or maybe they skipped out on you for whatever reason, they just didn't show. When you have your selfie stick tripod, you still can get the job done.
And now there's all kinds of apps to go in and edit your pictures. You don't have to pay hundreds of dollars, hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars to get a headshot.
Yeah, it's amazing. So again, it's all about using the tools and resources you have available to you and getting to know them, like the selfie stick tripod, and being able to embrace them and use them. $20 will get you a selfie stick tripod.
Okay, so tell me how I would use this in my business. So some ways to use selfies to promote our personal brands.
Yeah, so you always want to have your phone in landscape mode, like you see here.
Okay.
This is portrait. Most people take selfies this way, which is fine, but when you're doing it for business, you want to do landscape because then you can use that picture or that video anywhere and it comes out perfect in terms of formats. And then you really want to make sure that when you're doing selfies, especially for business shots, try to get some extra space on the left, on the right, above, maybe below. Like switch it up a little.
So you're not centered.
Yes, because there's time and a place for centered, right? Maybe it's for just a headshot. But oftentimes you're going to use these selfies on social media and you want to put a little blurb over here. You want to put in, your think bubble and what you're thinking about. Or maybe you're doing the thumbs up and you want somebody to look at what's going on up there or the fingers down. I mean, there's all these things that when you're taking a selfie, you typically don't think about until afterwards or until somebody tells you.
Right.
And so when you're doing this on your own for your business, you want to make sure that you give some space, give some extra space on all sides of you because you just never know.
That's such a smart tip. That's a huge tip. Yeah. So let's take some selfies. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to the business news that you really care about. So what do you have for us today, Ed?
I have this shocker. Target is coming out with a loyalty program. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I love Target. Target.
everyone loves Target, and now this is a new thing that they're bringing out is their loyalty program, which it's kind of funny because they have, their red card, they have, a loyal following, so they kind of don't need a loyalty program, but it's another effort to keep up or try to exceed.
Stay ahead.
Yeah, Amazon, because Amazon is the big retailer these days, and they have their loyalty program, which started with one thing. We have to remember that while Amazon has a ton of features for their Prime members, and they keep adding to it, but we have to remember they started with one thing that they focused on, which was 2-day shipping. So they did start with books.
Yes.
Fun fact, Amazon did start with books, but they're known for the 2-day shipping, and that's what sold their membership. It'll be interesting to see what that entails, how that evolves, and really where it goes, because again, they have such a loyal following. So
it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you have today?
Well, okay, so we all know what Scotch tape is, right? Yes. So this is the story of how it originated. I love these stories.
Yeah.
But 3M is the manufacturer. They're the ones who invented Scotch tape. But the coolest part about the story is that 3M is what's called a visionary business. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But in their business, what they've done, because I don't know, it's been around for hundreds of years, 3M has.
Yeah.
But they empowered their employees to be able to come up with their own ideas. And to go and experiment and try different things to come up with new products, such as Scotch tape. So let me tell you how this went down.
Yes, please.
So there's this kid who was a college dropout, and he was a mechanical engineer. And I think his name was Richard Drew, and he went to this auto painting location where he used to bring them some of the 3M sandpaper. And he got there, he's waiting in the waiting room, and people who he's supposed to work with, they had not come out yet, but he heard all this cussing and yelling and screaming, and that was just, you could just tell someone was coming undone. Ends up what happened was, this is back when two-tone paint on cars was big.
Yep.
But to do a good two-tone paint job, you need good tape to do it. So whatever they had didn't work well. It was bleeding through.
That was a pain point.
Yes, that was a pain point. And so Richard said, I think I might be able to help you. And so he went back to 3M and talked with the people there, and they came up with this concept, Scotch tape masking tape. And they took it, it was not called Scotch tape. I'm going to tell you how that name evolved, because that's kind of a cool story too. And he gave it to the guys. And the guy said, this is crap. It needs more adhesive.
Yep.
And so, the guy who was using it called it Scotch. Take the Scotch back to your employer. What that Scotch meant back then, it was a derogatory term, and it meant cheap and just kind of crappy. Is what it meant. Yes.
I like that.
So take this crappy Scotch or this Scotch. I don't think they say crappy Scotch to fix it. That is how the name evolved. Who would have thought?
That's what I love about looking back, pausing and looking back at where we have started, where the brands that we follow, that we use, that we're purchasing, where they started, because there's a story there. We all have that story, and it's so important that we tell it.
Thank you for being with us on another episode of the Mox Live Show. I hope you have a full page of notes. Maybe you have some new ideas for how you're going to dress, how fashion is going to help you step out, just like Malia talked about. Or are you already looking on your computer for your next vacation, your strategic vacation to help you re-energize and refocus and get more creative so you can take your business to that whole new level. And while you're there, make sure you have your selfie stick so that you can get those great pictures and show your audience what you're up to, and let them into your world a little bit more and see your authenticity. As always, I want to thank Collabs for this amazing venue that they are so generous with and letting us come here and film. Remember your 3 things to say every single morning, which are your gratitude attitudes. So think of those 3 things that you're grateful for and watch your whole day unfold. And if you are interested in changing your mindset and you'd like a little more ideas and some more tips, just check out themoxlife.com. Until next time.
Woo, that was exciting.
Does that music make you want to dance?
All the time. I'm always like grooving and moving in the background here before and after the show.
That's right. Gets us going.
It does. This was fun, and you guys did awesome. Those who tuned in live, if you're watching the replay, awesome. In my watch party over here, enjoying being able to send gifts and comment with you guys. This is what I love, is being able to take something we've created, go live, share it with you, and get your real-time comments, your real-time feedback. It's pretty crazy.
It is fun when we're interacting with you guys and hearing what you're saying. And I know in the watch party, some people posted, that they love red and they wear heels and they have these outfits. And one lady said that she is going to, in 2020, her goal with her fashion is to be funkier. And I think that's brilliant, because whenever you can be unique, right?
Yeah.
You just have there's a confidence that exudes from you.
It does.
That you're not trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And so I love that idea, and I want to see pictures.
And it takes you to the next level, right? Like when you say you're not trying to fit in, you're trying to just be you and be comfortable. Mm-hmm. That's why I love live broadcasting. You guys, we talk about this all the time. It's like, this is the fun thing. We're doing something fresh and different that not a lot of people, I haven't seen anybody, but I'm sure somebody out there is trying this stuff, where we're doing the pre-recorded mix with the live and being able to connect more with you, because this is the future. This is where we're going. And this is what makes us feel comfortable, and really just makes us have fun.
Yeah. And it really is. I've done so much marketing. I've had businesses over the last 30 years. Quite frankly, I've had a lot of businesses, and I've done, I was there when Google AdWords first came out, and that actually did help our business a lot. Yeah. But that was a wave, and it still is working. But that was a wave that took our business from here up to to 7 figures. And so this is the new thing that is coming out, that is really helping people connect with you, to see who you are, to trust you, to like you, or maybe not like you, but those aren't the clients that you want anyway.
Right.
So
there's no hiding. That's the beauty of it, is that, when you're writing a blog post or when you're sending an email, you can hide behind your words. You can sound as fancy as you want. You can, get real creative with it. But when you go live, you cannot hide when you're on video. And that is why so many people love this. And that is why it's so popular and is just increasing in demand, because there is no hiding.
It could be why we drink as well.
Yeah.
Because maybe it makes it easier. Yeah. I don't know. Not saying that you should drink when you're doing shows, but
it all depends on your format, however you want to produce it, right?
That's right. Wine and watch.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, you make it relatable, and you figure out what works for you and your audience. And, you don't need to make it real fancy and real stuffy if that's not the vibe that you want to put off, if that's not who you are, if that's not who your audience is. Like, get real with yourself and with your audience, and everything else will fall into place.
Yes. So agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Are you guys ready to do your own show? Are you doing a show? What are your challenges? What do you love about it? What do you want to change about it? What would you like to improve? I'd love to hear all of it.
Oh yeah. You guys
and we'll give feedback and look up resources for you if you are looking for something, but just give us the feedback. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, because this is what you need to be doing in 2020, not in, a couple years or anything. You need to do it now, because it's still an untapped market. Even if you see a lot of lives going on, it's still, when it comes to business owners embracing live, it's still very, very small. And it's only going to increase in size, and you want to make sure that you're on the forefront of it.
Totally agree. Yes. So get out your selfie stick.
Yes. I almost grabbed mine. It's in the bag right on the other side of the computer here. FYI, you always got to have one.
I don't have one, but
that's because
I don't need to, because Ed's always with me and it works out well. So this is another thing, since we brought this up.
Yeah.
We all have our zone of genius. Mine is not tech. I suck at tech, but I'm clear on that. Ed is a genius at tech. So stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Know what you're really good at. And if what you're not so strong at, find someone else who is. That's why this works so well. We're having a great time. I'm not having to do things that I hate. And Ed is like, I think
Oh,
you're enjoying it.
I'm in my zone. Like I get to do what I want. I get to be creative. I get to capture those moments. I get the phone out. I'm doing all the things, and I don't have to worry about anything else. Like that.
Right.
That's what I like doing
Yes.
the best. 'Cause
Find partners.
that's you have to remember, teamwork equals success, which is why it's so important to have your community, have your resources. Yes, have your free resources, but at the end of the day, you're a business and you have to have paid resources because
If you want to
there's-
get ahead,
Yeah.
if you want to really move ahead, there's nothing that helps you more than having that person who's been there, done that. Not someone who's just talk, but someone who has been there, done that, and has proven experience.
Yeah.
They will help you go to here so much faster than you trying to do it on your own or doing it on zero budget.
Yeah.
You won't get to where you want to go. You might eventually, but it's going to take you a long time. And I promise you're going to have a lot more bumps and bruises along the way.
Oh yeah.
So
Be open. That's my message today. I've been talking about that with a lot of people. Is just be open and have that that open to testing and changing things up. Because when you're not, that's when you are going to get left behind. You just can't have a closed mind these days. You have to be open to embracing new technology, be open to new ideas, and testing things out because you have to market your business. And the way to market is by testing different things to see what works.
see what feels good for you. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Have a